It's day 6 of the COSAFA Under-17 Championship. It's Zambia versus Eswatini. It's top versus bottom, defending champions versus an already eliminated Eswatini. And we are live from the A.W. Miller Stadium here within the confines of the University of Johannesburg. And these are the pictures, the warm-up pictures of Zambia. Their warm-up really was quite tense and quite stringent, as one would expect. They are fresh from an 8-0 victory over Namibia and a 4-1 drumming of Zimbabwe. 12 goals to their name so far in this tournament. Can they add a little bit more this afternoon against Eswatini? They've only conceded 1 goal during the tournament so far. Zambia, the top goal scorers with the second best defense in the tournament. Bigger tests are likely to come, but this afternoon they face these men, Eswatini, who started off their campaign with a 5-1 loss to Zimbabwe and then followed that one up with a narrowing 2-1 defeat against Namibia. So before South Africa get a chance to chase their 3rd win on the bounce, Zambia will be chasing theirs against Eswatini. The Zambians are top scorers and top contenders, pursuing a statement of note. A statement saying that they want to win this competition and become the regional princes once more. Little bit of wind, quite a bit of cloud cover, decent conditions, both in the atmosphere and on the field of play. Hello again to you and yours, whether you're joining us from Lusaka or Babane or any other place on the globe. Strap in for the final day of group phase drama. It's the final phase of the group phase. Zambia have been, so to say, spotless, while Eswatini have been stunned by the bright lights. Still hoping to secure, of course, their first point at this year's COSAFA Under-17 Championships. Zambia have been ruthless in every sense of the word. They dispatched their last 2 opponents with typical Zambian panache and purpose, the kind of style we've gotten used to every time Zambia enter this demanding competition that is the COSAFA Under-17 Championship. Before these 2 sides play their final group match, it's time for the singings of the respective national anthems of both Zambia and Eswatini. Just a few minutes before kickoff, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we all please stand for the singing of the national anthem, starting with Zambia. now the national anthem of Eswatini.
It's time then for these two sides to lose themselves in their final Group B affair. On the surface, it certainly appears as if Eswatini will soon enter the lion's den full of goal-hungry Zambian players, largely due to the fact that Zambia will extend their stay in South Africa. Ian Bakala has afforded a rest to some of his star boys, but this is still an indomitable team on paper. Zulu, Mbutsi, Mwansa, Chimwemwe and Robert and Jimmy Banda make up a sturdy Zambian spine. Some changes have definitely been rung, so it will be fascinating to see whether or not Zambia continue along their warpath. Not in orange this afternoon, instead they're dressed in green attire, Eswatini in white. They are likely to utilize a back three system, Eswatini / back five system, but for how long can they fend off a relentless, ruthless and unforgiving junior Chipolopolo attack? Janinza, Vilakati, Mabusa and Mube need to be agile and need to be so very aware about Zambia's potency and especially their physicality in the midfield regions. Eswatini won't defend the whole time, so when they step forwards, Dlamini, Mazia and Maseko have to be unafraid and totally confident for this final group bout. Before they depart back to Eswatini, they'll be hoping to secure at least a point against the very strong Zambian outfit, who of course have one eye on the semi-finals. The two captains, Gabriel Piri, as well as the goalkeeper of Eswatini and Ndlovu, joining the lineup of officials in the middle. The Botswana ladies team took to the field earlier on, and now two of the nation's finest officials will oversee this match. Miss Tepe is the lady in charge of this bout. There's definitely, without doubt, a huge chasm between these two under-17 setups. Zambia's 100% record aside, they've scored 10 more goals than Eswatini have, whilst conceding 6 less. And if it wasn't for that goal that they conceded against Zimbabwe, you could have called Zambia's group campaign immaculate up until now. But it's a chance then for some of the players that started on the bench in their first group matches, getting a start this afternoon, hoping to make one real significant impact, and of course hoping to perhaps start the semi-final. And in order to do so, they'll have to really put in a fine display this afternoon. It's a noon kickoff between Zambia and Eswatini in Auckland Park. Which way shall it go? Their fates are, so to say, sealed, so it'll be very fascinating to see how this one all plays out. All eyes then on the official, the lady in pink, who gives the go-ahead. Zambia get us underway. Robert Banda gets us underway, and we are live from the UJ.A.W. Miller Stadium. Zambia enter this tournament with a big reputation, with a big eye-catching tag of favorites, and they've definitely lived up to the expectation of many. And there's a good reason as to why Zambia keeps on churning out exceptional teams for this tournament. It's in their DNA to embrace this kind of stage. Chimwemwe, Simukoko, Simute and Nirongo, Zambia's top goal scorers, the two top goal scorers of the tournament so far. are currently on the bench for them. So if things don't go according to Ian Bakala's plan, then he can easily just bring on Simute and Irongo to notch up a goal or two. 7 goals between those two forwards, but it's an opportunity now for Jimmy Banda, Robert Banda, Joseph Zulu, and perhaps even Gabriel Pili to notch up a few goals of their own. There's a booty to Chimwemwe. You can see what he was trying to do with that very ambitious ball to Joseph Zulu, who looked to keep things as tight as possible and stretch the field as frequently as he possibly can. And it might just take a few moments before Zambia are able to discern how it is they should exactly go about toppling this back 3/back 5 Eswatini system. It's a very defensive shape that they've adopted. But is it enough to fend off Zambia? There's Robert Banda pouncing on the loose ball. Robert Banda goes to Malupande. And Gabriel Piri can't quite maneuver the ball beyond Mabuza and Bilakati. First attack then of the game could actually fall to the underdogs, could fall to Eswatini with Maseko. Still he carries on. Maseko waits for support. The support eventually arrives, and it's a rather poor attempt in the end. So the opportunities will definitely arise for Eswatini, especially from the counter-attack. They'll probably do most of the defending in this match. But when those limited opportunities arise, they really need to grab at it with both hands. Simukoko. It's a good ball from Koko to Banda. He just let it run, and it's decent enough defending from Dlamini. The other Dlamini that's leading the line for Eswatini this afternoon has scored both of their goals in this tournament so far. Scored one against Namibia, scored one against Zimbabwe. Both of those, in actual fact, just proved to be mere consolation goals in the end. You'll be hoping to score this afternoon and to score a much more meaningful or consequential goal for Eswatini, who have gone to the semi-final stages before in this competition, but they've been a little bit off the boil this year in 2024, as the level has certainly increased and shot up through the roof. Mwanza, Alton Piri to Gabriel Piri. And he takes a slip there, does Malupande. And Eswatini do get a free kick after that slip from Malupande and after the intervention from Jinanza. Should be a good contest between the two number 8s in the midfield regions. Here's Ndlovu, wears the captain's armband, also dons the gloves for Eswatini. Up towards the fringes of the 18-yard box. Simukoko. Does go without mention that with each passing COSAFA Under-17 Championship, the level of competition is elevated to higher levels. Levels that once seemed out of reach have been attained both here and in Pimville. And Zambia have started all of their matches so quickly throughout the tournament, and they'll be eager to start this one off with a flyer, off with a bang. Chimwemwe, first shot on target. Falls to Zimbabwe, falls to Chimwemwe. And then a launch ball up from Ndlovu is easily dealt with by Chola Mwanza. So he's the left-sided centre-back. As for Mbuti now, predominantly finds himself in the right inside channel, as does Malupande. Simukoko tries to clip it over the top for Robert Banda to chase, but Dlamini was there for Eswatini. It's a good challenge from Maseko. So Eswatini haven't seen too much of the ball in the opening 6 minutes. But it's something that won't mind them at all. Very much settled in their shape. And they won't want to push and press too early and expend too much of their energy too early, because Zambia can certainly flip the switch and enter into a new gear, especially in the second half. It's all about constructing an innings for Eswatini. Go without conceding in the first 10 minutes, then the first 15, then the first 20, and slowly just grow with confidence. And their defensive structure is the only thing that will give them confidence in this match. And it'll set them up, give them a base to attack. Vilakati. He's dispossessed by Malupande. Chimwemwe. Throughout the day, throughout the final day of this group phase, so many twists and turns are likely to occur, and so many permutations will have to be inspected. And the calculators may even come out to play. But at the end of the day, 4 teams will continue to chase the dream, while 8 others snap back to reality and not be able to take part in Côte d'Ivoire come next year. Remember, Zambia did take part in the last Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations together with South Africa, but was subjected to early elimination from the group phase. So it's all about returning to the Continental Showpiece event and giving a better account of themselves, perhaps going 1 or 2 steps further in 2025. They are defending champions, remember, Zambia, and they've certainly tackled this tournament, tackled both Namibia and Zimbabwe with that typical champion mindset. They're going to be tough to defeat, tough to stop. And that task may very well fall on the shoulders of South Africa in the semi-final. But for now, it's Eswatini they face. It's good stuff from Maseko. Easily got the better of Simokoko, and now he faces up against him again and beats him again, does Maseko. That's bright stuff from Eswatini's number 10. The only pity is he's been forced to do it quite literally all by himself. Minimal options that were near and in and around him. So he was definitely allowed to give it a good crack from outside of the box. So 1 shot on target apiece for both Zambia and Eswatini in the opening few exchanges. Slower start from Zambia in this game compared to their other group matches, but that could soon change now with Chimwemwe's ball into the box, which is well overcooked. A typical box-to-box midfielder is the kind of profile that is slowly going out of the game. But Chimwemwe, Zambia's number 6, likes to get forward and definitely also likes to station himself just ahead of the 2 centre-halves, just to allow for some additional solidity and defensive support. The same will be required from Jininza, super fan from Zambia. And he's blowing that mini vuvuzela from his helmet. Unique setup that he's got going on. Unique setup that Zambia have got going on as well. Chimwemwe. They've certainly given their travelling supporters a lot to shout about, a lot to rave about. Shall that continue this afternoon? It's a decent delivery in from Joseph Zulu. And some tidy defending from Ngube. Set piece opportunity then for Zambia. A whole host of their goals in this tournament have actually surfaced from set pieces, and they do use their long throw in like a set piece, as you can see there. Flick on attempted by Robert Banda. Came off him last, no deflections, out for a goal kick. going to drop kindly for Maseko again for Eswatini. It's the third time now he's found himself in this position. He's in here for Eswatini. He squares it. Massive opportunity spurned from the underdogs. That goal would have definitely sent a seismic shock throughout the tournament. He's onside. Here's his opportunity, a much better chance. Oh no. He scored 2 goals in this tournament so far for Eswatini, has Dlamini, and he was in there again. So definitely the better chances are being created, believe it or not, by Eswatini. Despite their dominance in this group, and despite the possession that they've been able to hold on to in this match, Eswatini looked very threatening on the break. Something that Zambian backline will have to consider. Might a drop here for Robert Banda. Good goalkeeping from Ndlovu. They play with a very risky high line to Zambia. And Eswatini are hoping to highlight the weaknesses that may surface from that high line. And Simokoko has been run ragged. He just kicked the boot off of Maseko's foot. Free kick here for the men in white. Jininza. Just a few yards shy of the halfway line. He'll definitely back himself to whip it in there. Big boot required from Jininza. It's a cracking delivery, in fact, and decently dealt with in the end by Zambia. And Malu Pandey, to be more precise, as Chola Mwanza. Simukoko. Greeted with deafening noise in the stands. Gabriel Piri does well. And then the strike is a great one. What a beautiful goal. My goodness gracious me. What a way to open the scoring for this clash. Malu Pandey it was. Caught us all off guard by that wondrous hit. Manufactured some space in the midfield, and Zambia, after conceding 2 early opportunities, have cracked in a wonderful goal courtesy of the work from Malu Pandey. Caught it absolutely sweetly, and Ndlovu was scrambling and couldn't keep it out. It was a rocket, a thunderbolt from Malu Pandey, rattling the back of the net. And after a really positive and enterprising start from Eswatini, they find themselves trailing against Zambia. Chimwemwe. That's their 13th goal of the tournament so far. They've been in a rich vein of goal-scoring form. And it seems as if that trend is going to continue this afternoon. It is the first time that they are playing on this pitch. They were a marvelous watch in Pimville. That's a poor header. It's going to fall here for Joseph Zulu. Can't make the most of it. Eswatini work it nicely again. Can they force in a rapid equalizer? Maseko has done well up against Mbuti and Simukoko so far. One cannot say the same for his teammates. Miss Tepe, the referee, spots a foul and awards a free kick for Eswatini. And there's a bit of afters between the players. There's no need for that at all. And it's good refereeing from the lady, getting in amongst the boys, stopping a potential scrap. Now we've seen a few free kick spectaculars in this tournament, and it just seems as if today is the day we might be privy to a few more. It's been unchallenged so far. Dlamini, he stands over this free kick. Maseko is just behind him. It's a 5-man wall that Dlamini will look to conquer. And of course, Zulu in that goal for Zambia. Angola actually scored from a free kick yesterday against Mozambique. The free kick hit the crossbar, and after that it was put in from a very close range. So it's not only up to the free kick taker, but also those 4 players dressed in white in the box to anticipate anything that might spoil in their path. Dlamini then for Eswatini, he plays it short. Maseko, it's a woeful free kick routine from Eswatini. Poor execution. Conception, the idea was there, but Dlamini probably should have just gone for glory himself. It was definitely on. It was a promising position, and it's the kind of free kick that they might not be afforded as often in this match. Orton Piri just lost track of the ball there, did Jimmy Banda. So a handful of teams, especially South Africa, will be watching this match with great intrigue. It always seemed inevitable that Zambia and South Africa were going to meet at some point in this competition, but that day won't be today. It's a different task that they'll have to commit themselves to, the Zambians, and they've done quite well so far. Malupande's goal is definitely contender for goal of the tournament, although they've been countless contenders for that prize. Chimwemwe. Now Mbuti brings a certain level of composure to that Zambian backline. Remember, only Zimbabwe have been able to score a goal against Zambia. They've been, so to say, flawless so far. And Eswatini have come close in this game. But close ain't going to cut it. Chimwemwe. It's a marvelous ball to Joseph Zulu, who does marvelously well to keep it in play. Zulu with a few step-overs and then a delivery that's easily pouched by Ndlovu. And he looks long already. Good challenge in the air between Mbuti and Dlamini. Chimwemwe, the orchestrator in the middle of the park for Zambia. Everything seems to go through him. He's the source of everything positive. So if Eswatini have any wish of stopping Zambia, they need to try and get closer to Chimwemwe. Simukoko. Now Malupande, the goal scorer, the great goal scorer of that wonderful strike from outside of the box with his stronger left boot. They can't afford the same amount of time and space to this man, Robert Banda. Not too far away. Just clipped the outside frame of the goal. Just let the ball run across his body. And then produced a bullet of a strike that had Ndlovu worried. That's for sure. 20.5 minutes into this bout between Zambia and Eswatini, and it's Junior Chipolopolo that have the advantage. Might he take a strike again? Are we about to be witnesses to another spectacular from Zambia? Not that time around. They're really starting to put together a wonderful montage of goals. Chimwemwe is in the mood to explore, in the mood to run. Simukoko. It's a neat little touch from Joseph Zulu. But not quite neat and delicate enough, but it's stolen back nicely by Malupande. Now it's off to Orton Piri, who darts on the outside. And then doing the defensive work there is Lamini. Jimmy Banda. If there is one team that can end South Africa's remarkable home record in this competition, that one team is Zambia. And this match against Eswatini is another chance to prove exactly that. Every time South Africa have hosted this competition, in 1994, 2002, and of course in 2020, Amajimbos have been the champions. But will that be the case again this year in 2024, especially with this Zambian team in the mix, as they always seem to be? Chola Mwanza. Eye-catching ball from Mwanza. Decent delivery into the box, not well dealt with by Ndlovu. But enough is done to fend off that Zambian attack. Here's Mabuza. That's a useful ball from Mabuza. Dlamini. Now it's going to fall to Maseko. And it's not going to be a corner kick for Eswatini, who look most brightest, most assured when they're attacking down the left-hand side. So they perhaps need to start mixing things up. Because Zambia is such a savvy team, a team that can shut down any side. That's a wonderful ball to Robert Banda. Malupande thought about having another go. Jim Wemwe. Booty. He's also going to have a crack. Everyone wants a goal. Everyone wants to have a go from range. So Zambia still in the lead against Eswatini, despite the absence of some of their more eye-catching individuals. But they've controlled this affair quite nicely. And that Malupande spectacular has just afforded them to play with a little bit more calmness. No need to rush or force the issue at all, and that's what Malupande and Chimwemwe realize. Taylor gives the ball away to Gabriel Piri. Banda, and then it's poked to safety from Mbingo. Eswatini definitely improved after their drumming at the hands of Zimbabwe, in which they conceded 5 goals. And they followed that up with a much more confident display, a more typical Eswatini performance against Namibia. And now they can have the opportunity to take a break, take a sip or two of water before they re-enter the contest against Zambia. They've been forced to do a lot of the chasing. Zambia are definitely the more ball-playing unit. But Eswatini will definitely be encouraged because opportunities have surfaced for them. They just haven't been able to take them up until now. And this is the only goal that has been scored so far, and what a stunner it was from Malupande. Just a touch beyond the Eswatini midfielder there. It nearly got ahead of him, and then he decided to give it a go, and what a go it was. So they are really flying in this tournament, on course to keep their 100% record intact. 9 points from 3 matches will definitely fill them with a lot of confidence heading into their semi-final bout against South Africa. Just to remind you that Zambia versus Eswatini and then South Africa versus Mauritius later on are the final 2 men's matches that will be hosted by this A.W. Miller Stadium within the confines of UJ. The semi-finals and final on Friday afternoon will be hosted by the UJ Sports Soweto campus. So that'll be a change of venue, and it perhaps will be a slight advantage to Zambia, who have played on that surface before in this tournament. As for South Africa, all 3 of their matches have taken place at this very ground. Although the last time South Africa did play in Pimville, they did dismantle Lesotho, not once but twice. It's Joseph Zulu and Malupande, and then Chimwemwe, who breezes past the multitude of Eswatini players. Here's Malupande. Defender goes to ground and Malupande is cleared out. Chance here. They are lining up for their second of Zambia. Now the referee missed a foul here. And the lines lady. But they were lining up at the far stick. The one player was definitely offside. That one player being Jimmy Banda. But you can definitely see that Zambia are ravenous for goals. And the goal scorer Malupande was taken out and cleaned out right there. And he's lucky to escape a booking, that's for sure. Missed the ball entirely, got all of the player. And this is a slightly worrying sign for Ian Bakala, Zambia, and all of their supporters, both here and at home. They followed this team with great enthusiasm, both here and across town, and they've urged them on. A really formidable and enthusiastic 12th man that Zambia do possess in the stands. Zulu to Mbuti, to Malupande, who seems to be okay, recovered from the knock. Jimmy Banda cracks it against the back of Ngube. Goes back to Banda, now Simukoko. Goes past one, Simukoko puts it on the head. Is it a goal? No, offside. It was a wonderful ball in nonetheless from Simukoko. Great bit of skill initially, and then put it on the head of Robert Banda, who was indeed miles offside. Great finish, but it's a bit of a practice run. Orton Piri, or Jimmy Banda. "30 minutes are on the clock, and Zambia just have the 1-0 lead over Eswatini. It's in fact the 8th time Eswatini have conceded a goal in this year's COSAFA Under-17 Championship. They've been far too leaky at the back. But in terms of their attacking play, Eswatini definitely do possess something. Malupande. Gabriel Piri now. Chimwemwe. And Robert Banda. And just off your screen, the Eswatini forward, Dlamini, and their top goal scorer in this tournament, is just nursing a knock on his left knee. You can see the strapping on his right knee. And now he's receiving some treatment. He's without doubt been their best player, their standout performer in this tournament so far. And they'll definitely need him for the remainder of this contest. And he's definitely one to watch out for. Maybe even might be on the fringes of the Eswatini senior team in a few years' time. So there's some activity on the Eswatini bench just because of Dlamini's knock. And the coach, Sindiso Alexio Gama, has sent 3 of his troops now to go for a warm-up. So might we see them to be introduced? Maybe even before the half-time whistle. We saw the Angolan coach yesterday, Domingos da Silva, make a terribly early substitution. The Mozambican coach as well, Luis Manuel Guerrero. So the coaches have been unafraid to shuffle their packs before the half-time whistle, which is definitely strange. Malupande. Again, another offside against Zambia. Eswatini won't mind the scoreline too much. Besides that blockbuster of a goal from Malupande, they've been in this contest, they've been defending quite resolutely, although they just haven't been able to get their hands on possession as often as they would have liked to. Buti. And that back three system working reasonably well so far for Eswatini. The back line a little bit too staggered and gaps are slowly starting to appear. Gabriel Piri can't take it on. Nonetheless, breaks for Robert Banda. Passes to Chimwemwe, who gives it a go. And there's a foul there, spotted by the Lions lady on the near side by Jimmy Banda. So there is word, there is a whisper in my ear that Eswatini are going to make an early substitution, an early forced change due to Dlamini exiting the field of play. And the man to replace him is Menzi Dlamini. So a simple like-for-like change in the attacking third for Eswatini. Might it yield a goal for them? Bingo. Here's Maseko though. Adjudged to have gone offside. Haircut fits the kit. Let's see if he was in fact offside. Tough angle, but probably so. Chimwemwe. Banda lets it roll for Simokoko. As for Taylor, he just chose the safer option. Just put it out of play. Put himself back in position to ready himself for another Zambian attack. This is where most of the action has been occurring, in this second third of the field. Eswatini playing quite deep, playing with that recognizable low block. And the one way to conquer low block is to try your luck from range, and Zambia have certainly done so a handful of times in this brawl so far. Gabriel Piri. Heavy touch. And nearly latched onto, really, by Malupande for the second time in this matter. Here's Orton Piri. He's been forced to take a backseat in this match so far, but he's found himself in a very advanced position. That's a decent clearance from Dlamini in the box of Eswatini. Watched the ball nicely, was nearly perpendicular with his feet in the sky to make that clearance. Now this game is creeping closer towards half-time. Zambia have controlled the affair quite nicely. Eswatini did unleash a few counter-attacks in the first 10 minutes, but they've gone back into their shells. And here's Malupande trying to thread a through ball to Gabriel Piri, who was a little bit too stationary, one would say. Here's Mbuti. Robert Banda playing through the middle. Now he's in the inside left channel. Gabriel Piri just stops and stumbles for a brief moment. Chimwemwe moves it along to Mbuti. He might choose to have a go, and left something on his counterpart, Malupande. Zambia not obliged to stop play because it's not a head injury. Joseph Zulu is well watched, but here's Chimwemwe again. Can't miss him, he's been like a flash with those luminous green boots of his. Chimwemwe to Malupande, opts to go shorter this time. Mbuti let it run, and now Eswatini can break. It's a poor ball from Maseko. The chance was definitely on the cards. As long as Eswatini can just keep the scoreline to 1-0, they are always within a shot of nicking a goal. You never are quite sure. As for Zambia, they are seeking that 2-goal cushion before they enter into the half-time break. Remember, this is indeed the first act of 4 this afternoon, the first half of 4. South Africa and Mauritius will enter the fray later on. Some of their coaches may even come a little bit early to watch the second half between these two sides. There's no doubt that Zambia and South Africa would have performed homework on one another. It's not a terrible delivery, but one that Jimmy Banda can't keep in play. Here's Ndlovu. Would have felt as though he could have done a little bit better in terms of trying to stop that scintillating strike from Malupande, but the hit just had too much speed on it, and the goalkeeper was always going to be second best. Zambia still ahead of Eswatini by a simple goal to 0. But what a truly jaw-dropping goal it was. There's Gabriel Piri on the fringes of the penalty area. Chimwemwe to Banda. Banda playing as a false 9 now. Malupande, still Malupande. Slight little deflection off of that pass, and it nearly very broke kindly for Robert Banda. And then Mbuti thought, I've been defending the whole half. I've been passing the ball around the whole half. Let me have a shot. Ndlovu, just beyond the halfway line. Truly is a spectacular sight with the Joburg inner city in the backdrop. And these youngsters right before us, trying to make a real name for themselves. Simukoko to Malupande. Chimwemwe. Banda. Disappointing ball from Banda. Not really pounced upon by Maseko. Eswatini will just look to give a little bit more in the second half. A little bit more energy and enthusiasm can solve a lot of issues. Energy and persistence can indeed conquer all things. But energy and perseverance has been lacking from Eswatini in this first half. Banda can't make the most of it. There's Chola Mwanza. Together with Mbuti, they've been exceptionally sturdy in that Zambian backline. Not only today, but in their previous two tussles. As for Chimwemwe, he's run the show in the midfield. The Eswatini midfielders haven't been able to lay a glove on him. For the most part, they've been second best. Joseph Zulu chops it back, delivers a ball into the box. Closer to the edge of the box than what it was to the penalty spot. And here come Eswatini. Should be a foul, and it is. They might just choose to slow things down here, Eswatini. Pass the ball amongst themselves a little bit more. Ndlovu opts to do the opposite. And again, it's a really poor giveaway. Chola Mwanza asking his team to push up as they seek their second just before the half-time break. Here's Gabriel Piri. They're really well there to wriggle out of a very tight spot. Orton Piri. Useful ball from Piri to Robert Banda. Out from Bingo. So final few flurry of attacks from Zambia. Eswatini will just hope to keep things as they are. Simukoko. That's brilliant from Simukoko. Now it's Maseko's turn. What can he produce? Starting off with a good pass and then a neat little flick from the substitute, Lamini. But Zambia are so dogged. Every time they lose the ball, they hunt in packs to try and win it back. That time they were a little bit too keen to win the ball back. Chimwemwe was a little bit too keen. Ndlovu. He's always constantly looking for Maseko, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, I suppose. Just because that it's becoming a tad too predictable. Exhibit A. It's a nothing hit from range. Three minutes to go then of this first period. Speaking of three, here is Zambia's number 3, Gabriel Piri. Offers a gift to Mabuza, who in turn offers a gift to Mbuti. All of Zambia's outfield players except Mbuti is currently stationed in the half of Eswatini, which really demonstrates their ruthless intent. Their intent to score another. But it's been difficult for them to produce penalty box entries. Most of their attacks have come in the shape of deliveries into the box and attempts from outside of the penalty area. But they have the certain knack to find a way to win in this competition, not only this year, but in editions gone by. They can make it look brilliant and pretty, but also they can earn tough points against tough teams. In matches that call for more patience, persistence and perseverance. There's another hit from a mile out, and it also missed by a near mile. Do Eswatini have the moxie to conjure up an equalizer, to produce one more attack in this first half? They've offered about 3 of them in the first stanza. Dlamini hassles Mbuti. Less than 60 seconds remains in this first half between Zambia and Eswatini. And it's been smooth sailing, really, for the men in green. The typical kind of performance and outcome you would have expected after they already cemented their place in the final 4. Still in second gear, still in cruise control. But they can turn it on in an instant. Mbuti. The ball has visited his feet probably more than any other player in this first half for Zambia. You can probably say the same, I guess, for Malupande and Chimwemwe. Here is Malupande. Scored the goal, and the referee blows her whistle to bring an end to this first 45-minute spell between Zambia and Eswatini. They were eager to carry on with their 100% record in this competition. They defeated Namibia by 8-0, scored 4 goals against Zimbabwe, and so far they've conjured up just the one beautiful goal against Eswatini, courtesy of a missile from Malupande. And that's how it ends after the first half here at the A.W. Miller Stadium. It's Zambia 1, Eswatini nothing. In the semi-final. But for now it's Eswatini they face. It's good stuff from Maseko. Easily got the better of Simukoko, and now he faces up against him again and beats him again, does Maseko. That's bright stuff from Eswatini's number 10. Minimal options that were near and in and around him. Greeted with deafening noise in the stands. Gabriel Piri does well, and then the strike is a great one. What a beautiful goal! My goodness gracious me! What a way to open the scoring for this clash. Malupande it was. Caught us all off guard by that wondrous hit. Manufactured some space in the midfield, and Zambia, after conceding 2 early opportunities, caught it absolutely sweetly, and Ndlovu was scrambling and couldn't keep it out. It was a rocket, a thunderbolt from Malupande. Out of the box with his stronger left boot. They can't afford the same amount of time and space to this man, Robert Banda. Not too far away. Just clipped the outside. Just let the ball run across his body. And then produced the bullet of a strike.
Substitutions for Zambia.
And a warm welcome back to you to the UJ.AW Miller Stadium. And it does seem as if after that first half, Zambia will produce and make 3 substitutions. So the players did their jobs quite well in the first period, and it's a chance for Ian Bakala to shuffle his pack, to look a little bit closer at a few of his other talents before the semi-final stage gets underway. It's the final 45 minutes for both Zambia and Eswatini of the group phase. It's Eswatini's last half in this tournament. As for Zambia, they are only just starting to get warmed up, and they have a 1-0 lead over the men in white and gold, courtesy of that remarkable strike from Malupande. And across town, the Zambian ladies' outfit are actually defeated, should I say, Mauritius by 10 goals to 0. So it's not only the men's side that are in riveting goal-scoring form, but so are the Zambian ladies. It's just in their nature, I guess, to find the back of the net. But so far, Eswatini have done well just to keep it at this current scoreline. But will the floodgates open in this second period? Or perhaps, miraculously, can Eswatini cough up a leveler? Piri arrives at the feet of Jola Mwanza. Mwanza once more. So Simute is playing on this near-hand touchline. Scored 3 goals in this competition so far, wearing the number 17 on his back, drifting slightly into the inner regions. Likely to receive this pass. Malupande. Simuse. Decent delivery in from him. Just beyond the goalkeeper Ndlovu, who thought about catching it. Whether he missed it on purpose or not, it's an outcome he won't mind at all, and that's a goal kick. So the depth of the Zambian squad also coming to the fore in this game, but as well as the group phase by and large. You do need a really formidable squad, not only a starting 11 in order to win the COSAFA Under-17 Championships, and Zambia certainly do have a very capable squad. Chola Mwanza. Gamutale. The second of the 3 changes that Ian Bakala instituted. It's Joseph Zulu. Ball into the box. 3 Zambian players. It's going to fall here for Gabriel Piri. And it's a little bit too easy for Ndlovu. A lot of bodies in the mix, so it was quite difficult to get a stinging strike away. But he tried, did Gabriel Piri. And here's their number 9, their top goal scorer, Abel Naringo. To Simute. And he lets it roll across his body, does Joseph Zulu. Doesn't find an opening. Mutale. I'll just remind you that Zambia's number 9, Abel Naringo, did score a hat-trick against Zimbabwe. And he'll be sure and very eager to add to his tally and finish this tournament off as the top goal scorer. Siyabonga Mabena did so in the last event in 2022 when he played for Amajimbos. Naringo hoping to take home the golden boots. Vilakati gingerly makes his way off the field of play with the sock and boot off. Eswatini have already had to make 1 forced change due to injury. And it seems as if Sindiso Alexio Gama will, in all likelihood, have to make another. What a long run-up that was, and a long throw from Ngube. Simute, who will in all likelihood start for Zambia in the semi-finals, as to Mutale and Niro Ungo. Which is why I suppose Ian Bakala has called upon their services for the second half. Just to give them a little bit of a taster of what is to come on Wednesday afternoon. Mutale can't reach it. He might do so now. Maseko gets there ahead of him. Mabuza. It's going to break here for Gabriel Piri. No, Jimmy Banda. And then Nirongo was on his bike, ready to give chase and ready to bear down on goal, but that opportunity was denied. Flung out by Zulu. Zambia did triumphantly defeat their old foe Zimbabwe in their second group match by a margin of 4 goals to 1. And the match was very even for a while, but the Zambians eventually pulled away. Can they pull away now? Big save from Ndlovu. Denying the substitute his 5th goal of the tournament. Took it upon himself. It was definitely on. It should have really been a cutback delivered to Gabriel Piri, who was in acres of space. sure to put the ball away into the back of the net, but Nirongo is goal hungry. Malupande, plenty of dip and swerve on that corner kick delivery. Maseko is unable to keep it in for Eswatini. So Semute is on it. Mutale, now Mbuti. Mutale hasn't taken him long at all to get to grips with the contest. Mutale and Maseko. And look at the strength on show from Mbuti, just to shrug off the striker, Mazio. It's a good touch into open space from Nirongo, who lines up now in the box. And the header goes out harmlessly for an Eswatini goal kick. Lovely measured cross from the right-hand side. And two Zambian players were lining up. Seems like this match is just slowly petering along. Eswatini playing for pride. Zambia playing for maximum points, playing for top spot in Group B. And with the other two sides of this group, Zimbabwe and Namibia also currently in action. Those two sides are locked on 3 points apiece. But Zimbabwe's goal difference is a lot better to Namibia's. Zimbabwe have a goal difference of -1. Namibia -7. And that's just because Zambia put them to the sword in the opening group match of Group B, hammering them by 8 goals to 0. And as for Zambia's last outing, they were desperately close to capturing their first point in this competition after finding a 60th minute equalizer against Namibia. But the young and brave Warriors conjured up a 90th minute winner and shattered the hopes of Eswatini. Any chances they had of qualifying for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. Joseph Zulu has gone to ground, but he's back on his feet after that robust intervention from Mube. Play continues. Gabriel Piri goes to the right-hand side. 4 players now in green to pick out. Picked out neither one of them. I suspect he was trying to curl that into the top corner from an unbelievably acute angle. Jimmy Banda gives chase once more. Beats one defender rather easily. Nirongo lays it off. Gabriel Piri, delivery towards the far post, will not be kept in. By Simute. He's playing on the left-hand side now is Simute. And he's currently off the field of play is Jininza. And in his stead comes Lelihle Shongwe. A change some Eswatini supporters would have wanted to see, perhaps even before the second half started. But he's on the field of play now is Shongwe for Eswatini. So too is Joseph Zulu. Gets the return ball from an opponent, does Joseph Zulu, and then he's clattered in between 2 players. And it's a toe punt kind of a clearance from Mbingo that does the job, doesn't get very far. Simute is full of energy. Joseph Zulu, well over. It's nearly impossible now for Zambia not to finish at the top of this group, which is Group B, of course. And even if Zimbabwe win their match, The head-to-head factor will count against the Zimbabweans, and Zambia's goal difference far outmatches and outclasses everyone's in Group B. Good header from Nirongo. There wasn't a lot of pace on the delivery, so he did try his utmost best to try and generate the pace by himself. Good leap. Couldn't quite keep his effort down. Those kind of chances are bread and butter for forwards, for number 9s. And he's usually a very capable, very astute header of the ball, is Niringo. But it wasn't an all bad attempt. Malupande across to Simute. Now Mutale. Malupande again. Simute. Wonderful ball in from Simute, arrived at the feet of Nirongo, who perhaps wasn't expecting it to be delivered so quickly to his feet. Here he is again. Nirongo! He was claiming a marginal deflection, wanted a corner kick to Zambia's number 9. But I don't think it took a touch. Thunderous hit again. And for nearly the second time, and Ndlovu was nearly beaten from outside of the penalty area. There's a certain directness to Zambia in the second half. Zulu, Simute, very capable crosser of the ball. And he's a flying fullback down this left-hand side. And look at him just breeze past his marker. From one fullback to the other, from one wing to the other side. Gabriel Piri, full of tricks, full of life, good cutback, a little bit too behind Jimmy Banda. Just mistimed his run that ever so slightly. Zulu. Spectator like you and I so far in this match is the Zambian goalkeeper. But he'll have to be on his toes just because the current scoreline still reads Zambia 1, only 1, Eswatini 0. Malupande. He's dispossessed. And Lamini attempts something delicate and extra fancy. Nirongo, what a through ball that is to Zambia's number 9. And a good stop from Ndlovu denies Nirongo. It truly was a spectacular through ball and a well-timed run from Nirongo. Malupande has been a joy to watch in this clash so far. Ndlovu, though, stood his ground. Got his left leg to it. There's a certain kind of dynamism that Nirongo brings to this Zambian front line. And it will be really interesting to see how the South African centre-halves and South African midfielders deal with his threat when they face one another. Mkosi, Mzimela, Palma, Unu will have their work cut out for them when they encounter the junior Chipolopolo. Joseph Zulu. Simute. The second ball will be won and will be gathered here by Joseph Zulu. Shongwe, first contribution, first touch of the ball, I think, for the substitute. Might get his second here. No, it's going to go out of play. So just yesterday, Angola finished their group campaign with 7 points, while Zambia and South Africa are currently on 6 points apiece, respectively. Although, if this current scoreline remains unchanged, Zambia will tick over into 9 points. which is the kind of return that their coaching staff and their supporters back home and locally would have really been desperate to see. And it's also going to be extra fascinating to see which one dark horse will join South Africa, Zambia and Angola in the knockouts. Mozambique unfortunately had their hearts broken yesterday by Angola in what was a top of the group clash in Group A. And the draw may very well open up for Angola. Could open up here for Nirongo, who's out-muscled for the first time in this game. It's good feet from Maseko. The pass needs to be even better, and it isn't. Simute wanted it. Malupande wants his second. See what he was trying to do. The through ball was most certainly on. Nirongo perhaps just caught too stationary. Another really good ball from Maseko. He's starting to find his confidence in this game. But unlike Zambia, Eswatini don't really have those smooth operators in the midfield and attacking regions. Their game is mostly centered around how well they are able to defend. Simute to Joseph Zulu. Nirongo holds it up, and then there's a deflection. Was it from a Zambian player or an Eswatini one? No, I think it came off Zambia's number 9 last, after Gabriel Piri gave that one the lot. Good performance from the captain this afternoon. It's continuity and momentum he, together with his colleagues, seek before they stride into that semi-final bout on Wednesday afternoon. Malupande, already favorite for man of the match, but it's still a little bit too early to make that kind of assumption, I think. That's very late on Chola Nwanza. The referee just turns a blind eye and allows the game to flow a little bit more, a little bit longer. Gabriel Piri. Taking his time here, not trying to force a pass and give away possession. As soon as I say that, Autumn Piri knocked it against the Eswatini midfielder. Here's a substitute that has injected some life into Zambia's attack, and he's allowed them to attack a little bit differently, has Simute, but he was caught out there. Maseko again tries to filter in that ball that needs to be so perfect, so difficult to pull off. There's Gabriel Piri, Nirongo is in here. Can he poke it beyond? And Ndlovu, who has made a really sterling stop once again. The third time that he's been called into action in the second half. And all 3 occasions he's come out on top. It's a brave bit of goalkeeping. Went down to ground early on. And extinguished, snuffed the opportunity that was presented to Nirongo. Both he, together with his centre half, and Bingo is receiving some help. And we've seen a lot of this throughout the tournament. Team doctors, physical trainers, their skill sets being called for, being asked for. There's the Eswatini women's side, supporting their men's team, of course. The Eswatini ladies team are 3rd in their group. which is Group A, group that also features Mozambique, Lesotho and Comores. Mozambique have already qualified for the semi-finals in the ladies event with 9 points. Lesotho on 6 points. But unfortunately for the Eswatini ladies team, they are already out after securing just the 1 point from their 3 matches. So they'll in all likelihood travel back home together with the men's team after this clash. Another substitution then. Zimande is introduced and thrown into the deep end. An opportunity he will in all likelihood look to relish. That's a no-nonsense bit of defending from Chola Mwanza. It sets Zambia off, it sets Malupande off. Exceptional sliding challenge to deny Malupande. Again, Eswatini don't get it very far, don't really get it deep into the half of Zambia. Nirongo peels off. Piri Nirongo for the second time puts his header over the crossbar in the second half. Chances are arriving thick and fast with regularity for Zambia's number 9, and he would have really backed himself to stick that one away. This time around he got too much purchase on his header. Sometimes you just need to take a percentage or 2 off your strike. Mutale. Simute. Every time he finds a teammate, he darts on the overlap. He's always on the move. Always difficult to keep track of Simute. Same applies to Gabriel Piri. Intricate stuff from Zambia around the box. But it's yet to really open up for them in the second stanza. Mbingo will take this throw in right in front of the Zambian technical area. Nirongo, just for a brief second, thought he might have been in there. That was nearly a giveaway, well cleaned up by Mbuti. It's been seamless in this clash so far, has the Zambian centre-half. And that extends to his centre-half partner, Chola Mwanza. There is Mbuti. Gabriel Piri. Jimmy Banda. Now Malupande. Simute for Zambia, chops back, goes to ground. The referee was going away from the scene. So after another Zambian attack that was halted by Eswatini, halted by that man, Shongwe, it's going to be another cooling break. The heat has definitely subsided both today and yesterday. It's certainly not as hot as it was in the first 3 days of this tournament, in which conditions really were unforgiving and totally scorching. But that doesn't mean it isn't hot at all. They've acclimatized well to conditions, Zambia. Eswatini as well, and this is probably their best defensive performance of the tournament so far, against one of the favorites, one of the most informed teams in the competition, if not the most informed side. So this result, even if they are to lose by a single goal to nil, is a massive positive for Eswatini. They've made valuable strides of improvement since their demoralizing defeat against Zimbabwe, which was 5-1. So we're approaching the final quarter of this match. I think Zambia might just make another alteration. He's been full of energy in this clash. Loyal, energetic, enthusiastic supporter of Zambia. The Eswatini ladies team have also watched on with great intrigue, but unfortunately nothing to shout about just yet from an Eswatini vantage point. They just haven't possessed the same kind of ruthless quality that Zambia have. And similar to how South Africa got the better of Comores and Botswana in their first game, Zambia know that the best way to stifle the opposition is to keep possession and not allow the opposition an inch. Felix Piri donning the number 10. He will come on in place of Joseph Zulu, who has been bright in this clash so far, although he really wanted a goal against Eswatini. Not to be, but he will in all likelihood feature in the semi-final, as will Piri. We've seen a plethora of substitutes in this tournament score a goal after making their way onto the field of play. Can another substitute raise his hand? Nick a goal. Chimwemwe. Mutale, should I say. Simute wanted it on this near side. First touch of the football for Piri. It's well dealt with at the front post by Dlamini. Simute. Mutale hasn't gotten a pass wrong so far for Zambia since he's been brought on. Here he is again. It's tidy midfield play from Zambia, tidy midfield play from Mutale, and especially Malupande. Zimbuti. Irongo is fouled right on the edge of the penalty area. And their eyes certainly will lit up at this chance. Irongo doing well there to get ahead of Ngube, just to force a mistake from the Eswatini centre-half that was initially supposed to play as a right wing back. But he's faltered into the heart of that Eswatini defense, and he's committed a foul on the top goal scorer of this tournament. Top goal scorer that will not take this free kick. Instead, it could easily be Gabriel Piri or Malupande, who definitely has the better claim just because of his strike earlier on. Because he's left-footed, the angle certainly favors him instead of Gabriel Piri, but you can never really tell with Zambia. They always seem to have an ace up their sleeve. Will they go direct, or will it be something more intricate and indirect? Malupande with a long run up. Went for the far post, when perhaps Ndlovu was not expecting him to go there. And it really wasn't a too shabby attempt. skidded off the surface just before it went wide. But Ndlovu would say he had that one covered. Eswatini have certainly shown promise in previous renditions of the COSAFA Under-17 Championships. In the last 5 editions, they've managed to ascend to the semi-finals twice, but that same promise has not really been shown or converted into points in this competition in 2024. It's marvelous play. Nyaringo can't combine with the on-rushing Malupande. Banda. Gabriel Piri. Chola Mwanza. That's a sturdy tackle from Tela. Could this be the chance for Eswatini? Shongwe. Every time they get themselves into promising positions, they just lose their heads. Piri rolls the ball to Piri on the other side. Malupande wants it in the midfield. Instead, it's going to go to Jimmy Banda. Great touch from Simute. He goes to ground in the box. No foul, says the referee. The ball might have been long gone in any case. But Simute has been quite a handful for that Eswatini backline since his introduction. And the camera just panned away for a brief second, but I think that probably should have been a penalty kick. The referee was quite far away from the action, so it was difficult for her to tell. Just like players, for the referees, it's also all about positioning. Vilakati, throw in here to Zambia. It's been a very domineering 1-0 performance so far from Zambia. Current scoreline is a little bit deceiving. Gabriel Piri. Malupande. Intricate stuff in the middle of the park from Zambia. They have been unafraid to have a go from outside of the box. But it's only the one from Malupande that rattled his net. Eswatini didn't field an under-17 team in the 2022 competition in Malawi for unknown reasons, but it's good to see them back to where they belong. And they'll in all likelihood return again in 2026 with a different batch of players. Perhaps some will remain. There are a few 15-year-olds in the mix. A handful of 14-year-olds as well. Challenge from behind there from Malupande. So the goalkeeper Ndlovu has exited his goal mouth, exited his penalty box in order to take this free kick. Just needs to put it in the penalty box of Zambia and ask a few more questions. They've been far too conservative in this match. Eswatini, perhaps they were very circumspect and not wanting to be embarrassed like Namibia and Zimbabwe were in the second half. And due to that, they've been very toothless in attack. But it has to be said, they've been quite sturdy in defense, although they could concede another here. And Bingo gets red for them. Here's Maseko up against 3 Zambian players. It's wise defending again from Zambia. They've been clever to leave a few of their members back. Simute. He's been a bit of a marvel since his introduction. Malupande has also been full of flair. And he's a midfielder with so much poise and composure. The type of cool head, cool, calm and collected approach that is most certainly needed in the semi-final stage. Gabriel Piri, Zambia's captain, moves the ball along to Jimmy Banda. He just teases his opposite marker. It really has been the traditional case of attack versus defense in this match. Piri, Malupande seeking to whip it in there towards Nirongo. And it does appear as if Eswatini are settling for a 1-0 defeat. Is there going to come a point where they push a little bit higher, confront Zambia much closer to the halfway line? Zambia have been freely allowed to pick passes willingly and with ease. It's going to be another free kick here, as it should be, for Zambia and for Gabriel Piri. Now the last free kick went agonizingly wide. And again, that's very late and definitely worthy of a yellow card. Will it be the same free kick taker again here for Zambia, or perhaps will Gabriel Piri choose to take this one because he was actually the player that won it? And now Nirongo has also entered the conversation, and just like that he's left it. So it does seem as if it will be Gabriel Piri in charge of this free kick for Zambia. Was the player to put the ball down on the ground, which is usually a good sign. Gabriel Piri goes for goal. And again, it's another very close shave for Eswatini. And not for the first time from the set piece, they've opted to strike for the right side of Ndlovu's goal, where he left the biggest gap. And you may not know, and it may be somewhat surprising to you, but Zambia and Eswatini have not only met in the group stages before, but they've also collided in the semi-finals and in the bronze medal match before as well. And Zambia, more often than not, got the better of them, and that trend is continuing here, unless for the first time in this game, Zulu was a bit frantic and very worried because it broke. And just like Malupande did from that same end, Eswatini nearly equalized. What an attempt. And the goalkeeper, I think, was well beaten in the end. Nowhere near close to the ball. Just like that, Zambia could have easily been pegged back. So yes, they've been able to control this game, but they haven't really been able to close it off and hammer in the final nail in the coffin, which is a sign that South Africa would definitely enjoy and seek to exploit. they were always going to be less than ruthless compared to what they were against Namibia and Zimbabwe, because qualification for the semi-finals were already bagged.
Substitution by Zambia coming out.
Zambia are going to make at least one more change. Gift Mumbi will replace the captain, Gabriel Piri. Mumbi was a joy to watch against Namibia in that 8-0 drumming of Namibia. And he'll come on to see out the final few exchanges, final few blows in this contest. Is there going to be a late twist perhaps from Eswatini? Could have been, easily could have been. Will Zambia just effortlessly see this one out and stroll into the semi-final stage in style? Ndlovu with a drop kick, great pick out from the goalkeeper. Maseko. Have Eswatini left it too late? All signs are indicating to a yes. Simute did well. They did Malupande to apply additional pressure to chase the ball down when he was most likely to be second best to it, but he didn't mind. And now, because of his endeavor, he's picked up a little bit of a knock. And he will be stretched off now, the goal scorer, Malupande. Very worrying sign for Ian Bakala and his coaching staff. And they'll be hoping that it won't be too serious. Bit of a loosener from Mutale, who has taken over the responsibilities of being the captain. Mumbi to Mutale. Final minute of normal time. Mumbi. Mutale. Eswatini just screening the danger ahead of them. Piri gets it back from the number 9. Piri also blazes his effort over. Irongo has held the ball up quite nicely for Zambia in this game, but also in matches gone by. Did well there again. And unfortunately for Piri, it fell on his weaker right foot and he was off balance, heading into the opposite direction compared to the direction in which he was kicking the ball. And there's another half chance. A moment of opportunity that has not been seized by Eswatini. 4 minutes to go in this first match of the day in terms of the men's category. Don't forget that at 3 o'clock this afternoon, South Africa will take on Mauritius. Mauritius just have a point in Group C so far, whereas South Africa, just like Zambia, secured 2 very comfortable victories in their first 2 outings. There's Maseko though. Piri. Still Piri again, and he was looking for the run of Simute. Really creative in its conception, that attacking move from Zambia. Execution, just a little bit wayward. Ndlovu pumps it over the halfway line, and then it's miscued from Mutale. But it's a favorable miscue for Zambia. That's far too easy from Banda. Mumbi, the ball is kept in just about. Mumbi gets it again and then tries to spin, and it's taken off of his toes. Half time of stoppage time, 2 minutes to go in this clash. Eswatini need to be a little bit more confrontational, but it seems like they are settling for a 1-0 defeat, as I said. Will it be 3 matches played, 3 losses incurred? Mutale, here's Piri. Zambia eager to score their 14th and final goal of the group phase. They've got about 1.5 minutes to do so. Now they're playing some good stuff, some scintillating stuff. It's not over just yet. Mumbi does well to manufacture room, then it comes off him, and then 3 Eswatini bodies go to ground. Mutale, decent stop from Ndlovu, and then he wastes no time in roofing it beyond the halfway line. Maseko here, could he grab a late equalizer? Goes to ground in the box. Certainly not fouled, but he's still on his feet, is Maseko, and then he goes to ground. So a little bit of drama to end the match off. And the coaching staff of Eswatini are just posing the question to the 4th official. Simute. Just like that, in the final few moments, Zambia could have easily been forced to draw this match against Eswatini, against the predictions of many. It certainly hasn't been pretty, but it's been a successful group campaign for Zambia, who summit to the top of the Group B standings. They nailed 8 goals past Namibia, beat Zimbabwe by 4 goals to 1, and were in total cruise control against Eswatini, claiming just a 1-0 victory over the men in white and gold, who did produce a final burst in the end, but it was a burst not enough. Zambia, and their first job has been done. They've qualified for the semi-finals in style. 3 matches played, 3 matches won, and they've defeated Eswatini by a slender goal to 0.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of match number 16 between Zambia and Eswatini. And it ends 1 in Zambia, not Eswatini. And the player of the match, jersey number 8 from Zambia, Zambia Manupane.
Zambia did triumphantly defeat their old foe Zimbabwe in their second group match by a margin of 4 goals to 1. And the match was very even for a while, but the Zambians eventually pulled away. Can they pull away now? Big save from Ndlovu. Took it upon himself. It was definitely on. It should have really been a cutback delivered to Gabriel Piri, who was in acres of space. Sumukoko. It's a good touch into open space from Nirongo, who lines up now in the box. And the header goes out harmlessly for an Eswatini goal kick. Lovely measured cross from the right-hand side. The head-to-head factor will count against the Zimbabweans, and Zambia's goal difference far outmatches and outclasses everyone's in Group B. Good header from Nirongo. There wasn't a lot of pace on the delivery, so he did good leap. Couldn't quite keep his effort down. Those cut. Here he is again. Nirongo! He was claiming a marginal deflection. Wanted a corner kick to Zambia's number 9, but I don't think it took a touch. Thunderous hit again. And for nearly the second time, and Ndlovu was nearly beaten something delicate and extra fancy. Nirongo, what a through ball that is to Zambia's number 9. And a good stop from Ndlovu denies Nirongo. It truly was a spectacular through ball and a well-timed run. Malupande has been a joy to watch in this clash so far. Ndlovu, though, stood his ground. Got his left leg to it. Zambia, more often than not, got the better of them, and that trend is continuing here, unless, for the first time in this game, Zulu, it broke, and just like Malupande did from that same end, Eswatini nearly equalized. What an attempt!
protest and stuff, so the mission. Yeah.
Yang berapa?